So what you're looking at here is a little project I've been working on for around the past month and a half or 2 months. I haven't really done any kind of video on this, so I figured now I might as well just do a video on it. And this is a little off topic, but if you didn't know, little man did buy a new Razor Turbo. It is currently outside in the trailer. If you keep up with the channel, you either already know about it or I've decided to upload this video first, but there's a video on that coming, whether it's already up or not. But this is where it's at. You can't really tell what it is right here, and at this point it's pretty hard for me to tell what it is. Look over at the plastics. It is a Kawasaki, you can't read that, Mojave. It was a Kawasaki Mojave 110. They only made them for like 2 years. It was an 88 model. My papaw, I found it in a barn sitting next to an old truck, and he decided to give it to me. So I took it home. It wasn't running at the time, but I got it running and rode it around. Third gear was out on it. So I just kind of was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. So I ended up just scrapping the motor because, I mean, third gear's out. I mean, there's not really much to do with it. And a buddy of mine had an RM80 motor that needed to be rebuilt, so I decided to buy a rebuild kit for it. We was going to go in halves on it, but we ended up working out another deal. If I just paid for the whole rebuild kit, I could have the motor and the pipe and whatnot to come with it. So I've dropped it in this frame, done a little work, and just waiting on a few things to get this done. So I started off just setting the motor in the frame on top of a few blocks. Then I bought some 3/16, I think, stock metal from TSC, and some of them I had to bend. Well, these back mounts were the only ones I didn't have to bend, but we used a torch to heat it up and then twist it and turn it and whatever to get it to line up with these motor mounts. Had to keep it in the air. It's what I tried to do that the best I can. And all at the same time while I was doing that, I had to keep the chain, the front and back sprocket lined up, and I had to buy a chain. The chain's a little loose, and with one of these setups, I don't know how I'm going to tighten the chain. I'll have to figure that out later. But the reason I would have done a like a full build kind of video, a time-lapse build of this, but I knew this wasn't going to be easy. It was going to be aggravating, and it was just going to be a pain in the hind end to try to do a full build video on this. So that's why I'm doing it like I'm doing it now. And when I come in here a little bit, you can see the little boot where the reeds are turns out, and the little boot on the airbox, you can see the clamp on it, but it was going to be really hard to line up. So I went to Advanced Auto and found some flexible radiator hose, cut it up, and it fits in there pretty nicely. The carb was in it, but it leaked gas really bad. That's just part of the gas that leaked out of it. I have it sitting here. I bought a rebuild kit for it, and hopefully it should be going good. But I did have it in there, but I took it out because this is the original throttle that was on the Mojave, and when you open it up all the way, the slides only open up about halfway. So I was hoping to get a push throttle, so it'd be like a mini Banshee type thing, but I'm gonna end up having to get a twist throttle for this anyway, so that's more money I'm gonna spend. Over here, can't see underneath the gas tank, but if you can see those little radiator clamps, yeah, it's not exactly the way it was intended on the original RM80. I had a hard time trying to find out how to make this work. I was just trying to find a regular radiator hose that fit that mold, but it wasn't gonna happen. So I just bought some from an auto parts store and got some clamps and a little kind of attached thing, like a thing right there that both sides go against, and clamped it on there. But the bottom one actually is original. I didn't have to do anything to that. I just took one of the original hoses and done that. Good thing about this, it does run. I'll throw in a clip of it running right now. Pipes in there right now. It's not really seated very well because it hits the gas tank. This is the original gas tank from a four-wheeler. It's not an RM80 gas tank. So I'm gonna have to figure something out with that and then get a muffler. I have no clue where this pipe has been or what's happened to it. It's had a pretty interesting life, to say the least, but we're trying to get that worked out. Clutch cable, I did have a clutch cable, but it broke. Clutch was working, and I was just messing with it, you know, excited because the clutch cable worked. Got a little tore up, and then it broke. So I'm gonna have to buy a clutch cable once I get everything else worked out. I'm trying to do this the best I can so I can actually put the plastics on there. Of course, I'm gonna have to cut my back fender to kick it, and I'm gonna have to cut my front fender around the pipe. And then I'm gonna have to cut it up a little bit, maybe, so it doesn't touch the radiator too much, but. And then of course the tires, grease rag, the tires, if this thing runs fine and it moves, I'm gonna put it in gear and ride it around a little bit on these tires. If it moves, I'm buying new treads on it. These have 22s on them. That is way too big. So I'm gonna try to find some 18s to put on there. These are 8-inch rims. The rims look absolutely terrible. So I hope to goodness that they seal in the back. The fronts are sealing, so I take that as a good sign that front tires will seal just fine. But we'll see, I guess. That's really it on this so far. If you're watching this video, leave a comment on what you think it should be called. Something around Suzuki, Mojave, and Kawasaki. I don't know what to call this thing. It's not really done yet, so I did have to zip tie that on there. Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a rough road, but hopefully I can pull through and get it done and show y'all. But like I said, I would start it up and run it for y'all, but waiting on a throttle, because that throttle's not going to work. So stay tuned. Wish me luck, because I'm going to need it. I've been needing luck since day one of this. Before in this video, any kind of donations or parts of this will be greatly appreciated, whether it be a throttle cable, clutch cable, or even a muffler or an air filter for the airbox. I'll leave my email in the description. You can email me and we can work out a shipping address. Thank you. Goodbye.
And lastly, keep sending.